October 1988. A mid-sized industrial town, the kind that shows up on maps but not in conversations. 3 closed factories. 1 open one running half shifts. You're born in the county hospital at 4:40 p.m., 7 pounds even. Your father is a furniture mover, 22 years carrying other people's couches, 22 years carrying other people's couches up other people's staircases. Your mother works the counter at a dry cleaner's. He'll learn a trade that lasts. $2,400 a month, $1,600 a month, a rented 2-bedroom, savings under $3,000. He has no idea what trade you're actually going to learn. Childhood is Saturdays spent in the back of a moving truck. You learn the weight of a piano before you learn long division. You learn to read houses, not square footage. Silence. The house where a family is moving out too fast, boxes half-packed, a repossession notice taped to the fridge. The husband sits in the car the whole time, watching your father carry a grand piano down 3 flights of stairs. $340 for the day, and a bad back that'll bother him for 30 years. The bank that forced the sale gets the house. The broker who sold it gets 6% of everything. You do the math. Even at 10, you remember it. You're 13. Every night, the same story. Frank Delgado just bought a boat. Frank doesn't lift anything heavier than a phone. You ask your father why Frank has a boat. Because Frank sells houses. And I carry them. You don't hear it as an insult. You hear directions. You discover talent nobody assigned you. People believe you. You listen, especially well. You start reading the listings before you print them. Some sell in 9 days. Some sit for months. It's rarely about the house. It's about who's telling the story of the house. No money for a 4-year school. Paid for. Buy a part-time job. Stocking shelves. You sit for your license exam. At 20, 80 questions, 2 hours. You pass on the first try. A blazer you bought secondhand. You now have a license and nothing else. 4 listings. 1 sold, $2,100 earned. Rent, $850 a month. A mid-sized brokerage run by Diane Kowalski. 58 years old, 30 years in the business. She takes you under her wing. A listing isn't a house. It's a story. You write it down like it's a joke. It isn't a joke. You never forget it. You're 23. Your first real client. Carol, mid-divorce, needs it done fast during your walkthrough. You notice something, water damage, the kind that costs $40,000. Nobody asks you directly. You don't volunteer it. The house sells in 11 days. $20,000 under market, exactly what she wanted. Your commission is double the usual rate. You sit in your car for 20 minutes before going inside. I didn't lie. I just didn't finish the sentence. The first lie you'll tell yourself for 25 years. Word travels fast in a small industry. You become known as the broker who's discreet, a businessman liquidating before an audit, a family selling before a sibling finds a second will. A landlord needs violations to disappear. None of it illegal. Technically, the 11 seconds of silence before someone should speak. You become extremely good at that silence. 61 deals, 40% involving omission. 0 complaints filed. You're 29. Ray Petrakis walks in. No appointment. A suit that costs more than your car. 11 rental properties, 3 counties. Violations he's been ignoring for years. Before a city inspection deadline. Not famous enough to have anything to protect yet. The commission is $310,000. This is the moment. Say no. Stay honest. Say yes. I'm in. A shell buyer. An LLC that exists to close, then dissolves. The deal closes. Ray's liability disappears. Your name is nowhere near the violations. You're already one of the most connected brokers in 3 counties. By 38, you're not selling houses anymore. You're selling disappearance, a German sedan for meetings, a second car rarely driven, a wife who used to be a buyer's agent, 2 kids in the district's best private school. Your father visits your office once, touches the edge of your desk. Where'd all this come from? Hard work, Dad. $34 million annual volume, $6.1 million net worth, 22 contacts on speed dial, golf on Thursdays with the county assessor, dinners with the head of the title company, a standing invitation to the mayor's fundraiser. You believe, for years, these are relationships. You forget the simplest rule. Nice to you for what you can do for them. You don't learn this the easy way. Nobody ever does. The industry is changing. A new generation who didn't grow up owing your contacts favors. A deal you've handled 100 times falls apart. The new inspector doesn't take the call. That's not really my department anymore. He doesn't call back. You tell yourself it's a bad month. You're 53. Referrals slow down. An elderly client, a messy inheritance dispute. A sibling hires an actual forensic auditor. Questions about a deal 6 years earlier. Nothing criminal. Technically, old contacts stop returning calls entirely. You've become a liability instead of an asset. Everyone can smell that shift a year before you admit it. You're 56. A call from the Hendricks family. 18 years. 3 generations of houses. Their grandmother has just died. A sibling nobody's spoken to in a decade. Handle it quietly, the way you always do. You don't check the paperwork twice. The signature authorizing the quiet sale isn't from the sibling who's cooperating, forged by the other sibling with a lawyer. Your license as the instrument. Your name on every document. A quiet fraud investigation. One signature to unravel. Properties tied to Ray Petrakis resurface 25 years later. Your license is suspended pending review. The friends from Thursday Golf don't call. The title company quietly stops sending referrals. You sit in your office one more time. You go through the math. Out of habit, 33 years, 1,940 deals. $19.4 million earned. Real friends? 0. Your father carried furniture for 22 years, retired with a bad back and a pension, died in his own bed. You spent 33 years selling silence instead of houses. It made you rich, right up until it made you radioactive. You never asked who was reading you. Whose eyes will we look through next? Hit like. Subscribe. Write it in the comments. Your vote decides.